Hello students, today we are going to study why the non-cooperation movement was started. Okay, so you all know what lesson we are studying. Actually, it is the nationalism in India, and we have studied before the various satyagraha movements that Gandhi undergone, and other than that, what were the different hard situations that we were facing, such as the riots and mainly the Jallianwala Bagh massacre and against this Rowlatt Act, and finally the Khilafat non-cooperation movement. Okay, so the reason why it was launched, that's what we are going to learn today, and it's mainly you all know that during the First World War, most of the countries suffered a lot because of the colonial government of British. The First World War added the misery of the Indian people. How it added? First thing is heavy taxes, and then high prices, and also we were facing famines at that time, and finally the epidemics. I said you before itself, it's influenza epidemics. So that is the main reason most of the people's life became very miserable. And next thing, Rowlatt Act. You all know that Rowlatt Act that invited large-scale protests throughout the country, and that is also one great thing. And next thing is, as I said, you Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and it was actually an injustice that was done to the people of Punjab, and which made the whole Indians angry. Okay, and then Muslims became unhappy due to the ill treatment of Turkey during the what First World War after the defeat of Turkey, that says that the Khalifa will be under the control of the great powers. So that's what the thing. Most of the Muslims were unhappy because of the ill treatment that was done to the Turkey, and for that only Gandhi. Though they have started the Khilafat movement, Gandhi was the major person, the main person who taken the struggle into a mass struggle. Okay, and next when we are coming to the Indian people, major section, many section of the Indian society, they suffered because of the economic distress. They were not at all having proper wages for meeting up the expenses of them, and that was the main problem. And even in the towns, workers and artisans and the middle class people, they have been hit by the high prices and the shortage of food, and that is the reason most of the essential commodities also they can't able to buy. And then the next important thing is the rural poor and the peasants were victims of widespread drought and epidemics. What I'm saying is, already I said you famine. Famine, how it is caused normally due to any natural disaster or some natural calamities, right? So in that time, drought is there, means there will not be water, right? All the lands started cracking, and the farming cannot be done. Most of the rural poor and the peasants, they were completely dependent on the agriculture, and that is the reason, due to the drought, they can't able to do farming. They can't able to at least satisfy the basic need, that is the food for them. And because of that, they got they were very weak. They were not at all having any immunity, or they were facing a very bad situation. And even at that time, the epidemics, influenza epidemics also came. That is the reason most of the people died because of starvation and because of the famine and this epidemics. And the British were unmindful to these developments. Even if the British people might have thought that, okay, most of the people are dying because of the famine and this influenza epidemic, so we should help them by recovering them, by giving proper healthy food to them, providing food to them, or providing proper medications for them to come out of these diseases. But they haven't cared about it. That was one main problem. And in the other side, the Congress session at Nagpur was held by 1920, and which adopted the Gandhi's idea of non-cooperation. Okay, and When we are coming to Gandhi's idea about non-cooperation, what is his major idea? That's what we are going to study. So, in his famous book Hind Swaraj, what Gandhi said is, by 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of India. We only have cooperated British people. That is the reason they can able to come inside our country and can rule us, right? So, India with the cooperation of Indians and have survived only because of this cooperation. If Indians refuse to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within a year and the Swaraj would come. So this is the major idea of Gandhi. So if we are not cooperating, they can't able to rule us and they can't able to stay here. They will be moving out of the country and we will be getting the Swaraj. So that was his idea. Therefore, he started the non-cooperation movement. Next, the main thing is what were the stages that proposed for the non-cooperation movement by Gandhi. So for various things now. First thing is the renunciation of titles. So what actually Gandhi felt is, we people for various things like studies or for some achievements, we got many titles from the British in the olden years. Okay, olden days, most of the Indians they got titles like Sir title and various titles from British people. Mainly this Subramania Iyer, Rabindranath Tagore renounced the honorary title Sir that they received from the British. And what Gandhi said is, whatever you get from British, you return it back to them. No need. They will be feeling shy because what means a person if he gives a medal and that medal is given back to him itself, automatically he will understand that they are not at all, they don't want any more support from us. So Gandhiji also asked all the people to return their medals that they got from what British people, and Gandhiji also returned a medal that was given to him, Kaiser Ihin medal. Okay, and next, resigning the important jobs, and most of these British people they have given the government jobs and government and whatever it is for normal private job also to most of the Indians to work under them. So if we are resigning the job that is given by the British, automatically they will not get the support of Indians, right? So for that reason, whatever medals they gave, it should be returned. Whatever job they gave, it should be returned. And then boycott of legislatures. That is what means many people refuse to cast vote when the elections to the legislatures were held. Mostly in that time, British people only were conducting the elections. Okay, so if we are not at all voting means how can they elect? They cannot able to elect, right? So that is the reason they said that no need to. If the British people conduct selection, we should not vote. That is the third thing, and the fourth thing is most of the people were studying in that time in the British schools and colleges, and most of the people who were qualified to be the lawyers, they were working under the law courts of British. So all those people boycotted. They never started when they stopped going to the schools of British, colleges of British, and then the law courts. Okay, so these all the things, and final thing is what, how we are cooperating majorly to the British government through paying the taxes, right? We continuously pay the taxes so that with that amount, tax amount, they are ruling us. They are what improving their standard, their troops and everything, right? So non-payment of taxes, and this was a powerful method of fighting an oppressive government. That's what the thought of Gandhi, and they were not ready to recognize the government, legitimate government. Okay, so that government was not recognized by the Indian people. That's why, how to show that? By not paying the taxes. This was the major thing that was done by Gandhi in the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so how did non-cooperation movement become a mass movement? So when did it become the mass movement? So the non-cooperation movement, you all know, as I said you before, it was launched under the leadership of Gandhi, and by the year 1920. And I said you, what was the major thought of the Gandhi during that time? It was he aimed at protesting the injustice done to the Punjab. Punjab means what? Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and then Turkey. Turkey in sense the Khilafat movement, right? So, to defend the powers of Khalifa, right? So, that's what, and not only these two, but also mainly to attain the Swaraj, right? And who were the people? What were the people doing? Mainly, we have already studied. Educated middle class people led the movement in cities and towns and cities. So, one side, what they were doing, the educated people, they are conveying this message to various people in the cities and towns, and making them to join the movement. And other than that, the British educational institutions, law courts, foreign goods, mainly foreign goods. Okay, foreign goods. I forgot to say. Mostly, the most of the people, they were buying foreign goods only at that time, because most of the things we don't have in our India. We were using traditional things, but they were bringing many modern things. And even in the olden days, our khadi cloth and woolen cloth are much costlier than the British cloth. So those who cannot able to buy the Indian cloth, they pay little amount of money and they can purchase the machine made good of British people. So that is what. So most of the people stopped using the foreign goods also. Okay. And other than that, council elections were boycotted in all provinces except in Madras. Madras people only, in Madras alone, the council elections was not boycotted because it was in that area who is what being in that what election, Justice Party, that is Justice Party na, the party that is made by the Indians, mainly of non-Brahmins contested. Okay. And next, peasants organized movements like talukdars and landlords in villages under the leadership of Baba Ramachandra. So why it was against the talukdars and landlords? Because it is, as I said you, for not to pay the taxes. Next, tribal people started an armed struggle in the Gudam hills of Andhra Pradesh under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju. So what I'm saying is, this forest side tribal people, and those people, they thought, though they were following Gandhiji, they for them, they had a leader, and that leader name is Alluri Sitaram Raju, and he is a great follower of Gandhiji. But what he said is, everything said by Gandhiji is okay, but struggling in a silent way doesn't help us. So we have to have arms and we have to fight against the British people. Then only they will be moving out of the place. And he went on with the armed rebellion, and finally he was killed by the British people. And one more thing, we will be studying more important, more funny things about this Alluri Sitaram Raju, because he is a man who proclaimed that I am the God. I am the God, and God had sent me, and no one can kill me. I have no death, and even the bullets cannot able to kill me. In that way he did, and whoever is joining me also will get that power. In that way he motivated, and everyone think that thought that he is a representative of the God, and whatever he says is true, and we have to fight along with him, as he said. In that way they thought. Okay. And that was the thing. And even but whatever he say, though he said many lie to the people, his struggle was really a great thing, and his struggle brought much changes during that time. Okay. And next thing is, workers in the plantation of Assam, they were struggling a lot. In sense, for many years they were working under the landlord in that particular field, but they were not all given proper wage, and they were not at all even given the rights to move out of the plantation. They didn't get a leave. The only if the landlord thinks okay you can go, means then only he can go. or else he cannot able to go even in the emergency situation or something else. Okay, so that was a problem, and most of the plantation workers suffered a lot, and they were struggling to get the right of free movement. And finally, at that time, only one important thing happens, that is the Chauri Chaura incident. Okay, so what is that Chauri Chaura incident? Okay, so the Chauri Chaura incident, I'll say you later, and let's wind up the class by today for today. And because of the Chauri Chaura incident, only Gandhiji was forced to call off the movement because it created a big problem, and actually the what it was actually a struggle, a peaceful struggle in the place called Chauri Chaura, but the British people started what firing onto the people, and the people again they got angry and they started fighting, and most of the people were killed, and it became a violent one, and that is the reason Gandhiji called of it. And what I'm saying is, what all the topics that we have studied today, you have to read it in your book, and you have to what to say is I'm sorry, you have to prepare minimum of 30 questions, 31 more questions from the topics that we are learning from by today. Okay, so you have to prepare, and you have to write in your classwork note, and you have to send it as homework as a PDF. Okay, thank you students, have a great day.